Greetings, dearly beloved. Thank you. I first want to say that there are a great number of people whose love and concern for the parish in the wake of the petition has been nothing but edifying, literally constructive. I have my thoughts and feelings around the petition, and given my sanguine nature, I have my reactions as well. Let me just share that I engage in spiritual direction and therapy on a monthly basis. Spiritual direction has been an ongoing part of my life since 2009. Therapy has been a part of my life since 2017. Both prove immensely valuable and help with an understanding that one's initial reactions aren't always the ones acting from a place of healing or even towards it. My reactions. For the first 2 days, I read the comments on the petition on change.org. About 90% of the names I wasn't surprised about. Not that I had written them off, but at least in my experience, they had written me off after having mentioned Jesus' salvific response to sin in homilies. Hear this, please. Whenever Father Micah, or I, or any other faithful priest mentions sin, it is both a mention of the state of affairs, namely that humankind constantly misses the high calling of sacrificial love, but also that there is good news. Christ has done battle with the world, the flesh, and the devil, and sin is not the period in a sentence. If anything, it's only a semicolon. To mention sin is not a condemnation, but a springboard into the mercy of Jesus, of who he is and what he has done. As I read some of the comments, there were two that broke my heart. A family whose house I had been to, I met up with both children, got one of them confirmed in a personally designed confirmation program based on the family's needs, and I had brought both to a youth conference. With no warning, they signed the petition. I reached out asking if there was something I did. The response was nonsensical and pointed, and I was confused. The other was a family whose children we accepted into the school, though they couldn't come close to the tuition. I offered some of my own salary to help cover the cost, even to give them food. I invited the whole family over to the rectory to have dinner so that they would know that we cared for them, for their good, and that we were not seeking to turn them into some kind of a project. I sought a job for the father and connected the mother with a food bank. We had fronted the cost to take one of the children onto a class trip to Washington, D.C. Because of a series of events, we asked to meet with mom and dad. They ghosted, didn't show up to the meeting, and left the school. And their comment on the petition was the first that I had heard from them in years. Their words about me were excruciating and didn't match with my experience. Thus, I had to stop reading the comments. These both were especially painful as I had come to fall in love with both of these families and their unique circumstances, needs, hopes, and pains. I drew close and I made myself available. Here's the truth of it all. Everyone has their own experience. Oftentimes, we see the same instance or circumstance, but through the corrective lens of healed wounds or the distorted lens of unhealed and festering wounds. It must be said that there are many perspectives amid this whole thing, and I am not offended by the ones who offered honestly for our good and the good of all his holy church. I need to reiterate a point here. There are no bad people. No one is pure evil. Actions that we all take may not be conducive towards God's command to love and to receive love. But none of us can fall to the temptation to other those people with whom we do not agree. At the end of all things, we will be judged by our love and how we love those who are hardest to love. And so, if any of this riles you up or stirs up wrath within you, receive this scripture which the church contemplates every Wednesday night at night prayer from the Liturgy of the Hours, Ephesians chapter 4, verses 26 and 27. Here, St. Paul says, "If you are angry, let it be without sin. The sun must not go down on your wrath. Do not give the devil a chance to work on you. Rather, pray for unity, for peace, for conversion, for us all. For indeed, if all are welcome, then all are welcome to be converted to the mind and heart of Jesus." How am I doing? There is an undue amount of peace about the whole thing, which for me is evidence that peace is an unmerited gift from Jesus and not a byproduct of loosened hamstrings or cranking out enough Hail Marys or even the possibility of ameliorated circumstances. I have had a special relationship with Psalm 62 since my senior year of college, and this past week has deepened it. Jesus is Lord and the Prince of Peace. In his time, in his kairos, he makes everything make sense. I am slightly exhausted by the attention, and even the support is something I'm becoming numb to. I'm just not extraordinarily good at receiving praise. I'm more of a let's get to work kind of guy. At the same time, it is good for me to receive love, and for that I'm grateful. You who are seeking to love me are making a donation of sorts, of me, as a better priest for many thousands of people decades from now in my subsequent parish assignments. You are benefactors of parishioners that you will one day meet in heaven, and that will be beautiful. Now what? There has been a crowd saying, "What is your response? It needs to come now," or depending on how this is handled, is whether or not we will stay in the school or the parish. Again, and I'm trying to have decorum in my speech, especially to respect what good intentions are among those who act in good faith. I don't know if reacting directly to an anonymous petition, not even made to me, but rather about me, is the way to go. I believe there are some good intentions behind this petition, and even that there is a desire for dialogue on the part of some. I also believe that to the extent that the comments on the petition are vitriolic indicates an inverse correlation for a desire for dialogue. I've been in conversations with people of the Archdiocese of Denver this week. I can say that there are concerns of honesty around the dialogue that is being called for in this petition. Some of this comes down to the fact that certain things in the parish and school were not able to continue as they had been. I point to some of the following: that the text in the lectionary or the Mass readings cannot be changed, that laity cannot preach at Mass, that sacramentally approved wine needs to be used for the precious blood, that the tabernacle placed behind a pillar out of sight ought to be recentered, that it is inappropriate to take consecrated hosts home and to put the pyx in one's fridge, and to bring Holy Communion to others when you desire, keeping the Eucharist at home, that the sign of the cross should always begin and end prayer, and that the name of Jesus needs to be invoked, that songs that are determined by the USCCB, that is, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, as unsuitable to be sung in the liturgy should be excised from the parish repertoire, that we can't have feminist art in the school, especially because kindergarteners through eighth graders don't yet have the skills to understand the larger history or implications of fighting for equal rights in appropriate contexts. In short, there were inevitabilities involved with a change of pastor. While change happens in dozens of parishes across the Archdiocese every year, and communities weather them relatively well, ours has been uniquely intense. I'd like to point out that this petition came in my 5th year as pastor here, not my first. For me, that is somewhat of an assurance, namely that the changes that needed to be made occurred slowly, patiently, with explanation, even if the outcome was firmly held to. I cannot say what the response of the Archdiocese will be yet, but only that if there is a time of mutual encounter, dialogue, heck, call it synodality, that the petitioners would enter into it with measured reason and openness of mind to be faithful to the Church. On August 20th and 27th, we will provide a time and a place for our committed parishioners to regroup, to pray, and to journey together past the Rubicon that is this petition. More details to come. What about those who disagree with you? There are groups comprised of former parishioners that still meet on campus here at Most Precious Blood. I am aware of them. I have chosen to give them space in our facilities as a goodwill gesture. Reports make it back to me that there is, more than occasionally, unfair treatment or detraction of me or of the parish as it stands now. This does not worry me. In many ways, it gives an opportunity to love unrequitedly. After all, Jesus says to love and to pray for those who persecute you. What does the parish need now? Our parish is a perfect example of the Pareto principle, which says that 20% of people do 80% of the work. In the school and parish alike, we rely on the same people to take on an undue amount of work because the work is important. In the coming weeks, we will make a more formal appeal for volunteers to step up in various ways. Financially speaking, the parish is down to around 25%. That means down by 75% of what offertory has collected before my arrival. Luckily, there has been plenty of fat to trim to compensate, and there are still more opportunities. There were funny expenses like paying for an outside company to water our plants. or 3 different cleaning contracts for different parts of the campus, or paying for duplicated subscriptions to appease employee preferences. With every change, there is a bit of hurt. I'd like to commend those who have, as the song goes, turned and faced the strain, choosing to be team players and fighting for unity for the sake of the work that is being done here on campus, at the parish and school and early learning center of Most Precious Blood. When I came to the parish, I inherited $2.2 million in debt from the construction of the hall and renovation of the parish offices and demolition of the old convent. As the migration of parishioners increased, the debt repayment has become burdensome. We presently owe 1.5 million and are working to pay it off. 18,000 per month is a lofty expense for debt, especially when 3/4 of that payment goes to take care of interest. Many people have many opinions about all of this. What I can say is that I rely on a team of the Finance Council to share ownership in the decisions made about personnel, facilities, contracts, and debt alike. To date, there is nothing that I have prevented the Finance Council from seeing. I am not only comfortable with transparency, but I embrace it as a protection for the parish. I say all of this to say that I will need to recommunicate the need for everyone in our parish to give something. For those who are giving, to examine their giving in light of what the gospel asks. And if there is an ability and a will, to make an increase. And for everyone who can, to match my giving to the parish. From my $30,000 salary, I give $129 a month back to the parish. For those who have been blessed in their material wealth, to provide for the parish in ways most others can't. I will also need to call upon another contingent, those who are friends of the parish, who go elsewhere but who benefit from the parish or care for it in some way, to bolster us this next year as we figure out what we are capable of in self support. And this will define what right sizing looks like for us as we choose to be faithful to the Catholic expression of the gospel of Jesus. But what do you need right now, Father Daniel? I would say LaCroix or any sparkling water. As I often say, if you're going to have a drinking problem, then pick wisely. I drink an intemperate amount of bubbly water, and we are out at the rectory because I have been chugging them fastidiously. Bubbles do something for stress management. A few frequently asked questions. Are you using AI for any of your responses? Nope. Do you use them for your homilies? To which I respond, do you see me take notes with me onto the pulpit? Do you create a burner account so that you can write positive messages about yourself on the change.org petition? Nope. I am vain, but not that vain. And to what end? Depersonalized commentary online is for those who've already made up their minds. Did you sign the petition? Yes. Why? St. Giambiani signed the petition for him to be ousted from his parish in Ars, France. He said he recognized that he was unworthy of the call he had received. I feel similar. To conclude, I have to say that my peace is underlined by the admonition, do not be afraid. And I'm not afraid. Hardship at this parish is nothing new to me. In fact, The suffering may actually be sowing seeds of a hitherto unseen fruitfulness. God gives the growth, He is in charge. The difficulties of this assignment have amplified my ability to love, and I do love you very, very much. And my love for you has changed me, and I pray that it keeps doing just that because I need it. You can stay tuned for more information as it becomes available. One last comment: please come to Mass. I will exfoliate this a bit more later. We have a number of families who are once a monthers or something of that sort. We also have blessed roaming Catholics. If you are activated by the events or the comments around this petition on change.org, then where we need you first and foremost is in the pews. With love and feeble humility, Father Daniel.